Way of the Samurai is a samurai game your way. Will you join the Akadama clan? Will you join the Kuro family? Will you or will you not save the lady being kidnapped? Burger King, baby. Have it your way. Of the Samurai is all about experimenting and the fun of outcomes and stabbing up some samurai lackeys. Ah, love a good samurai lackey. It's a genuinely gorgeous game, so utterly charming and woven together with grandma's stitches. I freaking love this game. This game made me. Let's talk about it. Before Acquire was acquired not once, but twice. Oh, do you hear that freaking rat right now? Oh my god. Oolong, could you please not do construction right now? Thank you. Before Acquire was acquired not once but twice, they were... Sir? They were making Tenchu, which owned...
I see. You have come.
Then they made Way of the Samurai, which owned Hella. It's kind of like Bully, but instead of high school harassment, the game, it's choose your own samurai adventure in the iconic countryside of Rokotsu Pass. The bring your own story vibes are the true meat of the game too, because combat is somewhat predictable with its square, light attacks and triangle heavy attacks, but there's also more. The push or pull of directions for and against blocking, how that interacts with the weak and strong attacks, durability that functions more like weapon stamina rather than longevity, and tripping, and a sort of rock, paper, scissors to it all. It's got a smorg of weapons to discover, many that are unique to specific characters, so you better get to killing story pivotal NPCs for their loot, and all those weapons have abilities that are to be learned. Here, come here, you dirty rascal. I don't mind the quote-unquote simplicity of its combat design because it does got just enough spice. It's simple AI you're up against. You know, once you figure out if you should push or pull with your square attacks to expose the enemy's guard to a triangle attack, that's pretty much the core of the fighting any of the many goofs roaming about. Once you got that figured out, you can just repeat over and over and over. But also, I only ever played on easy, so like, don't take my word as erect truth for it. Shit may get more complicated in harder difficulties, but I had enough fun with it, and I think it has interesting enough stuff to it to promote a healthy and fun engaging battle system. I forgot about this whole 100-man gauntlet at the Iron Foundry place thing. I loved the spot within the map as a kid. I love all the spots. Rokotsu Pass fucking rules, y'all, and it rocks to just mess around with the combat and get a feel for it. It's a great way to quickly unlock your weapons skills since all that vast variety and ability shit I mentioned resets at the end of a playthrough, and you can go through a playthrough very quickly. I think there's a way to store weapons. I didn't read up much, but I did read that it might have something to do with the blacksmith, where you can have a cross-dimensional chest of goodies to keep throughout playthroughs, and I guess I did use that once to end up having the blacksmith hammer for my second playthrough after I accidentally locked myself into acquiring his services but had no way of paying him, and ended up needing to end his life in my first playthrough, thus having the weapon available to me somehow. So yeah, that's really cool for replayability. This shit is so funny when it wants to be. The hammer's freaking home run move hits like a truck, the AI sucks at dodging it, and it kept a smirk on my face the whole time. Wow, good job killing us, dude. You win! When you're not slinging goobers into the stratosphere.
So long, Bowser.
The true loop of the game is all about making some decisions, making some allegiances, eating some radish, and encountering the fates ahead. You get to make a face and play dress up for your self-insert character Kenji before beginning your story. I always just liked the default face with the ponytail and the orange outfit. That looks nice. Doesn't that look nice? I know you can unlock other outfits, but I never learned how as a kid, and to keep the experience authentic, I didn't look up shit. Maybe besides the blacksmith thing, but otherwise I didn't look up shit. The entire premise for progression is really cool and yeah, astoundingly simple. Not that some outcomes don't require some more tight choices and specifics which can get tricky or specific, but it's all just way more compact than I remember. Rokotsu Pass is but 8 small map locations with rigid start and stops and connections. You can visit each nook and make a choice against each cranny with so much ease, it can often be an accident what allegiances you end up making and the endings you just kind of fall into. I will say, I love this kind of map layout. Maybe modern gaming would call this some sort of interconnected world, but it's just in the way of an old Monster Hunter map rather than like Dark Souls or something. Loading screens between and clear entrances and exits. It made me think of growing up on this and Chibi Robo and why I loved games like Stray so much. Small detailed worlds you spend a perfectly crafted amount of time within, the acute details and experiences to be had. Oh, I like that. It's like being exposed to an entire world with only a small canvas as the window, or in this case a computer monitor or TV. That reflects in the gameplay too, cause wow, you make your decisions and reach the culmination of your choices so quickly. It was whiplash to come back to this game after so many years having not played it. I remembered deep interpersonal drama and soap opera shindigs between seemingly multi-hour, multiple-day affairs. A deep decision I resolved to sink my baby teeth into, like joining the Akadama clan. The quickest way to do it, if you don't totally do it by accident, is to badmouth Lady Napper Subohachi, be a coward about it, and end up on train tracks to be rescued by Chelsea and Kicho. I always found Chelsea and Kicho so cool. Look at them, sick jacket and a bun. These two are the power couple. I never cared much for the Kuro family side of things. I never thought they were as cool. Fuck you, man, you're old, give me sick ass jacket guy. But you'll be invited to the clan just like that. Share the table with the elites and discuss war strategy against the Kuro family. Fight this impatient asshole Karibe. Seriously, Karibe made me so mad as a kid. Why does he misbehave like this? That's too much risky business, dude. Fuck off. Find out your other friend is a spy for the government and then boom, everyone is just fighting the government. There's a few character moments here and there, and again, there's actually a strong sense of diversity in decisions and paths, with about 2 fundamental ways this stuff could play out differently, mostly tied to whether you join a faction later into the replayable timeline of Rokotsu Pass, or betray your former allegiance for another within that time frame. All in all, it's a 3-day story with a morning, dusk, and evening cycle. There are core sequences you should make that are available at certain times depending on which one of the 6 endings you're going for. The time with the Akadama clan or the Kuro family, or just with the citizens of the past, just starts and then ends in a flash. I thought my number 1 cool dudes Kicho and Chelsea, bless their souls, were much deeper characters than they are. Childhood brain be damned. I always thought Dojima the blacksmith was the coolest as well. That authentic dude who sees through the conflict of the 2 main factions as well as the government. This beautiful beefcake cares for the lil dudes of Rokotsu Pass. I never thought the Kuro family was as cool, as I mentioned earlier. Tension, who's freaking old, or Hachiro Subohachi, who seemingly spends his free time kidnapping ladies. You make a horrible first impression, sir, but it's okay to get off on the wrong foot, having no time at all for a redemption arc with him until you're fighting side by side together to stop the government. A worthy reason to put aside your differences, but still rushed all the same. There's really no time for any character, for any of these characters. Their devotions and the motivations for those devotions are laid out in brief, matter-of-factly. I don't have any real problem with how rushed all of this is, though. I think the point is just to immerse in an archetype, fiddle-faddle with the tropes, and see the potential variety of your decisions play out. Obviously, I don't not care for Suzu despite having so little time with her, her grandpa or friends, but like, that just like shows how much of an empath I am. This is a thing I adore about many a games. They're seemingly incongruent dichotomies, the vast array of things that make up a game, the things that work and don't work, the things that are funny on purpose, funny ironically, things that are meant to be taken seriously but fall flat, the serious things that do hit. It's a great representative amalgam of all the pieces that make a game. Engineering and designing and animating and writing and directing and producing and conducting and testing, all these pieces pumping blood to a congealed art piece body, adding up to one hell of a sum. And yeah, you're gonna have to sit in the hypocrisy that makes up that video game's seams and folds. It was made by the minds of many, or at the very least, by the many conflicting virtues of one. Ludonarrative dissonance, eat your heart out. Yes, the game hilariously cheers you on as a skillful master of combat when you slaughter 100 enemies in an arcade-ass minigame. And yes, the story does culminate in a historical fiction of the Satsuma Rebellion, where there were roughly 40,000 casualties over the course of 8 months. How can a game cheer on video game-ass kill scores then try to depict the horrors of real civil war? Well, bud, I guess you're just gonna have to enjoy things in context and as an actual accumulated experience. This is why I like video game music so much. It is the most direct and clear way to depict and communicate what any point of a video game should feel like, even from one aligned moment to another opposing one. Tonal whiplash can be hard, but that doesn't stop Kinta Baby. When a track like Brutal Heart is the sonic profile for the sequence of the Japanese Imperial government destroying and conquering everything in Rokotsu Pass, I have to believe what the drums, guitar, and those fucking violins are telling me. Holy shit. Okay, God, I need to save Suzu. I need to save everyone. This is the most important thing that's ever happened in my heart. Truly, the charm and the thrill of the story is the ability to sculpt it rather than dive into it. Play-Doh, not lake water. You feel? And I feel much more a sense of experimentation with its sequences and characters than true personal involvement or stakes. I'm not perfectly immersed and in tune, but I feel it. The game was designed around width, not depth. But not only do I like things thick, it only takes one hard edge to still get under the skin. I feel what's being said, what the sentiment is, even if the English translation is a drunk baby walking its way through it. No! What's felt, despite the rough edges, can be thanks to any number of things. Normally, for me in the case of video games, yeah, it's usually thanks to the soundtracks and presentation, but you know, I'm also a music junkie. I love how refined and smooth the in-game camera will move to frame conversations, since conversation in itself is a whole gameplay mechanic relegated to its whole ass own button. Circle. That movement is so smooth. It really communicates that conversation is key to the game. It always presents it so cinematically and with utter importance. The skyboxes feel so cozy. I used the C word in a gaming retrospective. I love when skyboxes are relatively small or just at least apparent in shape. It reminds me of weathery, overcast days when the clouds leave no blue uncovered, but are seemingly so high up in the mesosphere that you feel like you just exist in one big, safe bubble. These kinds of skyboxes do that to me. Yeah, no, this game's presentation through music and visuals is absolutely why I remember it the way I do. The morning theme and walking out into the rural Japanese countryside with the babbling brook and the cicadas, of course. The robust cicada, or the minminzemi, and what I'll just call the elongate cicada, reflecting on that summer soundscape. Not having any meat space experience with these sounds, as I didn't grow up in rural Japan. Shocker, I know. I also wasn't born in time to be a samurai in 1878. There's a sort of liminality to sharing or witnessing and thus developing a nostalgia for something like which are the songs of such an iconic and specific regional and cultural opus. Something I never would experience nostalgically. Still have never, but people from Japan did make this game, and then this young rat did play it. Art. The expression of experience is the sharing of story. Liminality, not like...
He didn't care about me.
He's like a fish. He's like a fish.
Oh my god.
Ew.
Yeah, he kissed me on the lips. But like liminality, the space between the different and the similar, the private and the public, the rift that opposition shares. I did find my own way to connect with those things. Less glamorous to me, but I got memorable, steamy, moisty, danky rural summer experiences from Nebraska, road trips, tourist lakes, and boating. A quaint small town. The Denny's was cozy enough. No! Just try and avoid the I wasn't visiting no fucking Carhenge, but sitting in that lethally chlorinated hot tub of the Best Western, late enough for the stanky truck stop to finally have exhausted its final breaths for the day, I heard it.
Whoa! Whoa, holy shit!
A shared summer cutting a 6,000-mile distance. My infatuation for the summer and all that stuff culminates how probably so greatly developed from Rokotsu Pass. I love how this game looks so much. I love baked-in lighting. Take this scene for example. Like just ignore him. But the shrine has such believable depth thanks to the shading on the surrounding dirt hills against the I know, he hasn't stopped. Eyes on me. The illuminated quote-unquote stone path. It's so snugly charming and pretty with its depth. It's not simulated live lighting, it's painted lighting. I love it.
Move! Move!
Or look at this shot. The high intensity shadows are like a limitation of draw distance or something, but also what artistic style. It creates insanely strong contours. Seriously, like look at this framing and look at it with like a little extra emphasis. Looks fucking dope. I know these digital summers must be so sweat inducing. And golden hour, the late summer evenings, afterglow, call whatever the interactions you witness what you like. Video game yes, video gaminess, sure. But when the time of day changes and the flute informs you of what it all means, whatever emotions linger on the heart after a long summer's day, after the singing flutes, reflective drums, and the piano-driven drama drives down dusk, it's poetry amongst megabytes, NPCs, and a skybox. I've been thinking a lot lately about game fidelity, again, especially post like God, I was working on this in June, but like post Summer Game Fest, and how there's this discernible look to just high fidelity, big poly, quote unquote, good looking HD games and HD graphics. And since Final Fantasy VII Remake 2, thinking about that overall scope and how much people are examining finer details and really noticing low-res textures in previously said amazing looking graphic ass games. And that's not a distraction here. The game just is what it is. It just looks the way it looks. No cracks in the simulation like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's Stank Mountain. I just actually like how video games look. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying blah blah blah, this is better than the other and that I hate all high fidelity games, because like that's silly. Highly realistic or amazingly simulated graphics and details are an unbelievable achievement of the digital artists that created them. I'm not gonna shit on them. Have you seen Final Fantasy XVI's triple ass environments? I'm not original in claiming that the drive for photorealism and ultra fidelity is a pursuit that is self-annihilating the video game industry simply because people want games that don't look like video games. But like, it's literally true. If it isn't literally taking years off of artists' lives, it's literally putting their lives into dangerous circumstances once the blob decides it's ready to spit up what it's chewed. Shit gets so lost in the sauce. For-profit game creation was always going to find some meaningless aspect to be the clear signifier of progress or innovation, and the games are now better, or even that they're just now finally getting good. God, there was no such thing as a video game with an engaging story until Drake's forehead had wrinkles to tell me if he was happy or sad or not. It's just like a movie. I sit here on this hill, steeping in the low reso. Nothing else matters besides the interface between me and the game. The horizontal communication transpiring. The director guided everyone to present their ideas collaboratively, and the programmers made me laugh and told me it's a lot of fun. The scriptwriters told me who these people were and what this place was, and all the aspects of them I affect. They showed me what it all looks like, and then Noriyuki Asakura told me that it sounds like this. The story has been told, with all its thick-ass thickness. I love you, Rokotsu Pass. Your digital legacy on my meat heart. to still see it, hear it, play it, and to get to feel a part of my same self. Video game viscerality in perfect demonstration. I think it goes just a step further than, say, a nostalgic movie or song, because a game is all of those things fused into a nostalgic experience. Fuck. Despite the time, despite it all, this game is still here. I'm still here. My new beginnings are old now. My beauty is well in motion, but inside remains the cacophony. The ring on my finger, the distance between us, the hole in my heart. I guess you don't get over feelings. I am these things. I always have been in this place of making, this forge. I will never be unmade, no matter how much I'm undone. I'm trying to learn how to connect them, how to reconnect. Yours and mine, mine with everyone's. I fall apart often, and I just have to pick up the pieces again, because I can't be unmade. If life was a rat race, they wouldn't call it a mischief. Thanks for watching.